Hello, this is Jon Speelman with my column for Sunday, 2nd November. I'm actually recording it on the Monday because I wasn't quite sure what to do and I was playing at the 4NCL over the weekend, so I thought I'd see what I could do, see if I had some interesting games, and I did. So what I've got in the column is basically, this is one of the games, this is here. I've got the column which I've called Analysis and Blind Spots, and I've got my last three games. I had a club game with Jonathan Parker, Grandmaster Jonathan Parker, on the Thursday before last, I think, and I said a little bit about that there. And then the two games from the 4NCL, and there are interesting positions in all of them and some blind spots, and I'm really quite ashamed of the second game I won on the Sunday, because honestly I really should have seen some of the more of the tactics. Anyway, what I'm going to do, there are these three diagrams. So the first one is this position, what should white play here? And okay, that doesn't need to be in bold. And that also, save that. Then the next two are from the 4NCL, and we'll get a line there. And right, so this was on the Saturday. This is an interesting position. Oh, what's happened here? Is it happy? It does seem to be happy, doesn't it? And then this is from the Sunday, the position where pathetically I didn't attack. Okay, so these three positions are here, and I'm going to show you them in the chess base file. So we start with this game with Grandmaster Jonathan Parker. I was black. I haven't said much about the opening. It's a Nimzo Indian, and here of course you can't play b6 because of Queen a4 check, so you have to take first. And this position is, as they go, it's reasonably harmless, I would say, as Nimzo Indians go. He could have gone a4 earlier, he went here. And I could take it, but I really didn't want to. Why would I take it when I can just go here and have a beautiful, beautiful square for my horse? And actually he spent, I think, at least half an hour at this point, which, given it was a 75-minute game, it showed that he wasn't very happy about things. Here we are. If he'd played knight f5, I wasn't sure whether I was going to play bishop takes knight or knight takes e4. I looked at this actually, g4, bishop g5 is another idea actually. I suppose I could just play knight takes bishop as well, couldn't I, in fact? There's no reason not to play it. Or is knight takes bishop? No, there isn't a queen g4. So maybe that's even better, actually. Anyway, it doesn't work for him at all. And the other one, actually, it turns out that knight e4 is actually rather good for me. Check. If he goes knight g7, then very bad things happen. This is a really evil position. That's the end of that. I suppose he could have gone knight g7 also here without playing bishop takes knight. That's a little better maybe, but still not very good. The whole position is not at all fun for him. He can go. And I thought I'd probably play bishop f5, rook h4, f6 and be about equal, but actually the engine is really pleased by this, and it gives this line and just says I'm much better, which seems plausible because I suppose his pawns are an absolute wreck on the queen side, aren't they? Okay, anyway, he didn't do that. He went f4. Go back to the diagram. And now I did something very stupid. Pawn takes pawn is fine, but now I should have gone knight g4, and here I've just got a very nice position. If I'm going to play bishop g4, I should do it now. and there's a line that goes here, here. And it's about, maybe I'd go Queen D7 actually, even, I don't know. But the whole position is not very good for him. I mean, he's got such bad pawns. Okay, I mean, maybe he's got the E file, so maybe he's okay. But what I actually did was I went here and he went there, and I literally hadn't seen this move till it appeared on the board. You know, it's just a square in the middle of the board. And the problem is with that I think the ghost of the pawn on E5 was still controlling D4 or something in my mind's eye. Who knows? Anyway, I went here. Now I should have gone bishop C8, which is perfectly playable, because if D6, I just take it, and if rook E1, I go Queen D6. And I'm controlling all the squares, I'm fine. But I played Queen D7, which is very optimistic. And this is the position I had in the column. And basically I said, what should white play in this position? There are three moves to consider, I think, really. There's rook G5. There is rook AE1, which is what he actually played. And there's D6. So actually he played rook AE1. So the first thing is if rook G5, pawn to there, luckily, here is not particularly good. Actually, H6 is better. I was looking at this and thinking, oh, this is probably playable. But in fact, the great engine points out that in this move, this very glorious move gives me a clear advantage. Engines are engines, aren't they? Engines will be engines. There's nothing to be done about it. And this apparently is very unpleasant for him. Okay, fair enough. I didn't see bishop G4, obviously. And I wanted to play Queen E7, but then I did see Queen D2 take, and then neither of us saw D6 in the post-mortem. I did have post-mortems in all these games, which is fun. And D6 is basically winning because there's takes and there's this Queen D5 check hit all the time. So, but after this, I go here, I go H6, and if he goes here, I do this, here, which is actually perfectly okay for me. I was a bit confused by this, as you can sort of imagine. But it's okay, because I'm hitting his queen, amongst other important things. So, this would have been okay. But D6 immediately actually is winning, more or less, because I give a lot of lines. First thing is that if pawn takes pawn, rook to here, here, here just wins, because now I can't recapture because of Queen D5 check. So that's completely bad luck. Queen D6 loses to rook D5. It's completely winning. What else is there to consider? There's bishop B6 is actually my best move. Queen D6, queen rook to here, yeah, that's right. If say rook E8, bishop rook here, here, this just wins. D7 is terribly strong because he's going to have bishop D5 in a minute. It's a disaster. If knight takes, he doesn't even take the knight. He plays bishop D5, and he can try. You can try D6. There's one more move, which is an attempt, which is to go. Here we are. This one. Then he goes check, and goes here, and that's catastrophe because if bishop C6, he just takes. Yeah, I'm just winning a piece, I think. And of course, if I take that pawn, he plays knight G6 check and mates me. So it's all very vexing. Most upsetting. So D6, and actually the best I can do after D6 is to play bishop E6. Here I mustn't play queen b7. If I play queen b7, knight f5 just wins. And if I play queen c8, the game does vaguely continue. Because after queen b7, knight f5, bishop takes knight, there's queen f8 check. Okay, so he played rook a8, however. Rook a1, and now I have this trick. And now it's just a draw. Take, 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 take. He really has to make the draw. As I pointed out, if I had to move g6 in now, I'd just be winning after knight d3. Could resign them. But I had to give perpetual check. If he starts bringing his king up the board, then I win his queen very easily. So can't do that. And so we had a draw. I have a feeling that I may have seen knight e5 check from afar, but obviously I have this one. Okay, so that's that. There we are. Interesting game. At least I felt I was getting into the swing again because I hadn't played for ages. Then there's this game and I'm black again, and I'm going to go very quickly through the opening. Just get to some points. It's a line white can play. It's got to be careful. I mean, I'm threatening knight g4 by now. Queen e8. I mean, if bishop g2, for instance, here, then I think that, yeah, I think if bishop b2, then this is already winning, actually. If he takes it here, I go g5 takes. Yeah, it's just a catastrophe, isn't it? Take. Absolute disaster. I don't know. Let me just look. I didn't realise this was interesting at all. Maybe you can try bishop h3 here or something. Can he? h3. Knight takes g4, exclaim. Heavens. That's a dirty trick, isn't it? I didn't see that. That's why this makes sense, and then queen to there. What a dirty punk. And the game basically ends at this point, I think, doesn't it? Yeah. What a filthy trick. Okay, he went there, which he had to, and I should have gone g5 at once. Actually went here, and I started worrying about a3, g5, b4, but the great engine points out that in this position I do that, which is very clever. This is rather nice for black, I think. Black has got very good pieces at this point. My king's very slightly in danger, but not really. I can block on d4. He went here, so we got to the same position. Taking doesn't have to, but can do. And here I played a rather stupid move, g4. I should probably have just gone a6. He went there. Did I, what did I say? Queen h5, move I didn't really consider, and a6 just to stop knight b5. Apparently I can go pawn takes pawn and queen, and takes pawn takes pawn and queen h5, but I actually did this. And he should have gone h4 here, because now if I go a6, there's an incident. Isn't that wonderful for black? Oh no, it isn't. And white wins. Big, well, white at least wins several pawns. Has very good winning chances. Very dirty trick. He went there, and now I was able to go a6. He did there, I went there. I was worried if I doubled rooks he'd play f3, but actually I think maybe I should have done that, because now he gets in rook d3, which is a nuisance. And I go c5, and here he took, which is a bit... he doesn't need to do it. Okay, but there are moves like c5 and things, and I went here. He could have tried to do some h5 stuff as well, I suppose. I went here. That's the best move by far. If e4, c6, queen, queen, take, I was scared of this, and I was really right to be. I couldn't tell very much, but in fact after this move is a complete catastrophe for me. You know, he thought it might be okay for me, but I was very scared. But I realised that I was threatening knight e4 here, and the interesting thing is I just didn't see the move knight a4 in this position, which is, you know, it's a retreat, of course. He played c6, which both of us expected. Knight a4, actually, I go here, here, here. And if he goes c6, rook d3, I basically get control, because c7 loses, I think. And, yeah, it's basically okay, but here, here, and now if knight d3, I go check, actually. No, I don't do that. I do this, do I? Because I get f2 somehow. And what happens here? I haven't understood this. Here, takes king g1, rook e2. Oh, he doesn't have the move to stop rook e1 check here, does he? His knight's not in a good square, right. Okay, and if I go back this way, check here. Now it's not so fatal, but rook to here. And basically I'm stopping his pawns, am I? And it's not at all happy. What? Do I... No, I have to play king f8. Sorry, I have to play king f8 here for some reason. I have to stop his pawn. Promote variation, sorry. Okay, I didn't know that. But I should have seen knight a4. And that's another typical mistake. It's not seeing a retreat. What actually happened was quite interesting. Here, 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 here. If he goes c8 equals queen, sorry. If he goes c8 equals queen, I mustn't take his queen, because rook takes knight takes, he has a knight fork. I just take this one, and then I'm winning. But I mustn't take the c8 queen. So he went back, and I went check. Obviously, if he goes here, by the way, if he goes queen d2, I go check. He can try... Oh, wait a minute. No, I play knight takes f1 first, do I? That doesn't work, because I was saying check king g1, knight e2 check, but he's got king h2. So I should go knight takes d1. He goes pawn equals queen. Now what do? I go knight e3 check. That's nice, isn't it? So yeah, oh, I see, knight e3 check, exclam. Right, I understand. And if queen takes, pawn takes is winning, and if pawn takes, I mate him. Or I go pawn takes, I go check here. Rook takes, knight takes, check here, check. And basically, queen g2 I can take and play d3, and my pawn's queen, king f1. I just have too many checks, do I? How does this work? This is equal again. I buggered this up. I go d3, sorry. So I didn't see that either, actually. So now I'm looking at this, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff. So he might have tried that, actually. What happened was he went queen e1. Check, here, here. Take, here. d3 and queen e2 actually is good as well. He just managed to stay on the board. He did well. So we got to this ending, and basically you'd expect all these passed pawns would win, but it's not completely trivial. And I got quite tense during it. I went here. I didn't want to go f2 check. Is f2 check winning? It probably is as well, is it, or not, maybe? No, I just went there. Can't take it yet. I thought he might play h5 at some moment, but he never did. Now I do this, and I fix the knight, which is nice. It also means that any pawn ending we ever reach is going to be lost now. I could have gone up the board, but I stayed out of the way of his knight. he noticed that if knight takes pawn here, knight to there, this move, which I didn't see actually, and that completely wins. Well done him, seeing it. So what happened was now I go f2 check, now he's, if he goes king g2, king c6, king f3, king d5 wins easily, and if he goes b5, yeah, he went there. If he goes b5, sorry, yeah, b5 takes. I thought he might do this, but as the engine points out, first f1 equals queen is completely winning, followed by king c4. The line I intended, which was to go here, is also completely winning, here, and I get an e4 and e3, and he faffs around a bit, but obviously I'm going to win. With pawns like that, you always win eventually. So this would have been enough. I don't know if there are any sort of stalemate defences or sillinesses of any sort. I'm seeing the move king f1. Oh well, then I can go with my king and e4 and his knight and f3, but then I can go e2 and f1. Anyway, so what happened was he did this and I got in d2, and I have 43,000 passed pawns and I won. So that was another hard game, and one more I'm going to show you actually. It is the game on Sunday. I'm white in this one against Richard Bates. I think I had a minus score against before this game. I think I had a draw and a loss and 2 draws. I lost to him Banrati once. And actually I played this before against him. Okay. This is actually the main line of the Nimzo Indian, circa 1950 something. Except my bishop would be on d3. Whether it matters very much, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought it's that important, because I mean the main line goes takes, and this is the theoretical position. If I go reference at this point, you're going to see 40 million games. Mostly for the well, you may not see that many in Twig-base actually, which is what I'm using. If you used Megabase, well, there are still a vast number of games. Okay. There'd be more if it was the 1950s. Moves, wait a minute. Moves, games, notation, sorry. Okay, so anyway, he did a rather strange move. He went queen a5. Didn't like that. Bishop to here. Now I'm aiming my bishop slowly at him. And I went there. I didn't want to play e4. I don't like weakening my pawns till I'm ready. There, he doesn't have to take yet. Could have played queen h5 now, or probably not now, because then f3. This is an annoying move, threatening knight b3, so he has to go here and I go here. And I've weakened his pawns a bit. And he can try queen h5, and I was just looking if f3 is a move I want to play, and there's e5, and apparently g4 is okay for me, which is a bit of a surprise to me, because after queen here takes, if he takes, I just play that move. I don't take this. No human being would ever do that. I just do that. And there's no attack. And given there's no attack, I'm much better. So that would have been quite a sensible way to play, actually. Maybe I'd have found it. I don't know. I mean, the other move was queen g5 as well. And I was going to go f4 then. Queen h5. And now, what do I do? Notation. Let me just turn an engine on. I can't play rook f3 yet, which is bloody irritating. Maybe I can actually. Can I do it in this position? If I can, I do. Yeah, I have rook to there, knight to there. Okay, this is just good for me, isn't it? This is definitely... It's not nearly as good as the position I had, because his knight was in the ridiculous square a5. But it's still... Yeah, he went here, which is not a great idea. I went f4, now he went there, and I went e4 here and rook f3. And basically I thought I ought to be winning here, because I'm threatening d5, I have a massive centre, his queen is in trouble. I think that's all true, really. Here, maybe he could have tried king h8, could he? Well, he went here. King h8 is a move, he went knight back. Queen there's a good move, actually. He went knight c4, well done, I think. I think pawn takes pawn would be even worse. I'd go rook h3, queen g4, e5, h6, rook g3. I mean, at some point something awful happens to him. f5, good God. Just look at it. I'm threatening bishop e2, by the way, at this point almost, aren't I? Anyway, it's bound to be mate soon, isn't it? So, queen f2, knight to there, he played. I took with the bishop. I didn't want to go rook h3 and let him give up his queen. Why should I? And by the time I played this, I'd realised my knight should go here. Originally, I was going to go knight a5, which is not bad. Oh, it likes knight a5, actually. Knight a5 also is a move. Yeah. And I thought he went here now. And then queen d4, which is not a move I'd realised. Bishop to there. And then knight c6. Okay. I can believe that's the end of the world. Okay, so knight a5 was good. But I went here immediately because I'm trying to go to f5, of course. He could go bishop c8 now, and I thought I'd just probably go knight takes d5 and say, well, are you happy? Also, he could try queen b6, but then I had bishop g7, which is pretty grim. Bishop g7 takes here, takes. He does have this cleverness, but I just get rook e5, and basically, what's he going to do? His king is a complete wreck, isn't it? In a few more moves, I'll mate him. I mean, I'll move my rook off a1 so I don't have to worry about it being loose, and then the game will end in a few more moves. So he went d4, which is quite clever. Here, by the way, if bishop takes d4, question mark, bishop takes e4, exclam. That would have been a mistake. Definitely been a big mistake, sorry, question mark. That would really have been very annoying. So you go knight f5. So I could go bishop d4, f6, and apparently queen b2 is winning now, and then knight g7. But I did this. The engine says queen b6, but so what? I mean, queen b6, e5, and, you know, I'm going to play f5. So he takes, I hit him, he goes there, I hit him, he goes there. And I sat there for about 15-20 minutes and convinced myself that knight f5 didn't win. There were three things I looked at. I looked at rook e8, rook g7, king f8. Obviously can't take it or he's going to get mated up a tree. I suppose I should show that. If he does this, here, 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 would be very pretty, but you'd play king f8, obviously. And it's complicated then. I couldn't work it out. That was good not to do, but of course I should have done this, after which there are two good moves. Knight f5 is the right move, of course. I mean, look at it. The whole game I've been trying to aim at g7. I've got a rook, a knight and a bishop aimed, and I'm attacking the knight that is defending, so what's not to like? If he goes g6, I go knight h6 and f5. He goes f6. The problem was I saw bishop f6, knight f6, rook g7, king h8, rook b7, queen c8, which is, well, okay, we'll do these things. Bishop takes, knight takes, check. If king f8, take, here, queen to there is completely winning. Take, obviously this is completely winning. How I win it? Well, here I can just do this. Here, take, as I realised at some point, and this is totally winning as well. Okay, so he can't do this, obviously, and so that would have won. And if he's put his king on h8, I just have to see the move rook h7 check, and for God's sake you look at checks, and then you notice that he is being checkmated up a tree. And with the queen and d5 he loses his queen, so it's completely ridiculous. He could play a move like, I don't know, rook e8, and I'll play rook back to b1 and say, well, what are you going to do? Maybe I've got rook h7 check anyway, actually. Yeah, I think I've still got rook h7 check. The other thing I can do is I can play I can do rook h7 check now, which is rather fun. Check here, takes, rook to there, queen to there, here. And in this position I have to avoid the glorious move rook d1 because of queen c2. I actually saw queen a2 first, but it comes to the same thing completely. And then then I can't take his queen because I lose my queen, so I have to play rook takes rook and try to make a draw. So if I went here, fuck off. Sorry, somebody is trying to at the doorbell. I'm not going to answer them. They can wait because I'm finishing this. But the right move is rook to here. Here takes here, and I can either play g4 or I can actually play this move, which is funny, and just do this, and his rook's trapped, and that is the end of the game. So that was one way to win, and the other way to win was to play, which is more aesthetic really, more if I'd seen it I think I'd do that, is knight f5, f6, takes here. If he goes there, I can just go rook takes. No, I don't go rook takes 2. Rook takes is winning, but the beautiful move is this. Absolutely splendid move. Has to take with the queen, check here, knight takes queen, resigns. And that would have been a fitting end to the game, would have been the proper way to finish the game. So I'm really quite cross with myself that I failed to do that, because it's just ridiculous. You know that it must be working, and not to find any of those wins is pretty appalling. So I'm deeply displeased with myself, but it can't be helped. Okay, I didn't find them. And that's what I should have done. What actually happened, I played the appalling move rook here. Now it's about equal actually, but I still won. It's not just such a travesty. That's a bad move, and now I have that hit. He could have played bishop takes knight here, bishop takes, and it would have been better for me, but a fight. He has to go take, and he must go here, because I'm threatening rook g7 check. If rook e4, I just take and play rook g7 check. And I'm better, but the game continues. But he went here, and that was that. So I won the game, but it was disgraceful that I didn't find any of the patterns. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I think it must be, I wonder what we got next week, next month. I don't know what is on here. Sorry, I'm going to turn this light off, do this, let's see what I'm doing. And it'll be, will it be Sunday the 30th, so presumably Sunday the 7th or something. Okay, well I will see you in December then. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a good month. Let's check we are recording, or I'll scream and scream, and I am. Yes, I am. See you later.